Today we are going to learn how to use a sewing machine. Sewing machines can vary a lot. Some machines have a lot of features, some of them only have a few. But they all do the same basic thing. They make stitches on fabric, which means they all have the same basic parts. You have a switch to turn the machine on. And this is the hand wheel. It manually creates stitches. When sewing, you can move the needle using the hand wheel or by pressing the foot pedal. The hand wheel offers more precise control. Whenever you need to form a stitch manually, simply use the hand wheel here for more precision. When you use this, turn it towards you, always towards you, not away from you. When using the machine, place the foot pedal on the floor. Position the wider part towards your toes. This is wider part, like this. So this is the foot pedal. You can operate the needle by pressing the pedal. You can increase the sewing speed by pressing the pedal harder, similar to gas pedal on a car. After using the machine, wrap the cord around the pedal and store it here. So this knob is for the stitch selector. This knob selects different stitch patterns. Turn it to choose the desired stitch, like this. Straight and zigzag are the most commonly used. Here, you can adjust the stitch width. You can tell it's the stitch width because it has a little zigzag shape, starting narrow and gradually widening. Higher numbers mean wider stitches. And this is the stitch length selector. It allows you to create stitches that are tiny and closely spaced, which should be 1 or even 0. Or you can go all the way up to 4 millimeters, which is a longer stitch, usually used for basting or gathering or something temporary. This is the tension setting. It should usually remain around 4, so don't mess with it. Keep it at 4 unless you see any tension problems. Maintain it at 4 as a standard setting. And this is the thread holder where your sewing thread spool goes. But for larger thread spools like this, we use this can instead. So you keep this behind your machine. Down here, you will find the needle. This is where the top thread goes. This is the pressure foot. It has a lever in the back of the machine that raises and lowers the foot. Before starting to sew, always lower the pressure foot to secure the fabric and make it move forward. When you lower the pressure foot, please do so gently. If you just drop the lever like this, it causes a loud noise and potentially damage the machine. So please avoid making this sound. This is the bobbin case where the bobbin goes. This is the bobbin that you put thread on. It fits into the bobbin case and creates a lock stitch by intertwining with the top thread. It's called a lock stitch because it has 2 threads that lock together. This is the back stitch button. You can see it has a little symbol that shows like a U-turn, and it means that the machine will stitch backwards, which you do at the beginning and the end to secure your stitches. Now let's practice straight stitches and back stitches on paper to familiarize ourselves with the machine. To begin, select the straight stitch using the knob. number 1. Set the width to 0 and length to 2.5. So 1, 0, 2.5. And then place the paper under the pressure foot. Gently lower the foot and start sewing by using the foot pedal. Use the backstitch button to sew backwards. When you want to reposition the paper, make sure this silver thing known as the take-up lever is raised to its highest position. You can raise it by turning the hand wheel towards you. And then raise the pressure foot, move your paper, and then lower the pressure foot again before continuing to sew. Now we are going to practice zigzag stitches on paper. Zigzag stitches are commonly used to prevent fabric from fraying. To begin, select the zigzag stitches here using the knob. Width 3, length 3. So it's 3, 3, 3. Remember 3, 3, 3 for zigzag. So now we are ready to sew. We are going to use the edge of the pressure foot as a guide for now, because we are going to make straight stitches later inside these zigzag stitches. So don't place the paper too far away from the edge of the foot like this. So place the paper close to the edge of the foot, lower your foot, and you can go. So when you are feeding paper or fabric while sewing, use your other hand as well for additional support. When you are close to the end, slow down your sewing. Instead of using the foot pedal to reach the corner, use the hand wheel for better control to make sure the needle is down where you intend to stop. Now it's time to turn a corner, which we call pivoting. Remember, always pivot with the needle down. If your needle is up, you might lose your spot. So make sure that the needle is piercing the paper or fabric. Once the paper is secured by the needle, raise the pressure foot and pivot the paper towards you. Okay. Okay. I lower the pressure foot again, and now I'm ready to sew again. Now you're sewing in a new direction, forming a 90-degree angle with your stitching. Now we are going to practice creating straight stitches on paper while using the metal plate numbers as a guide for the seam allowance. The metal plate has numbers marked on it. 15 indicates 50 millimeters or 1.5 centimeters. 20 indicates 20 millimeters or 2 centimeters. Today we will be working with this 15 guideline. Align the edge of the paper with the guideline marked 15 like this. Then lower your pressure foot. Always make sure to lower the pressure foot before starting to sew. For straight stitch, number 1 with 0, length 2.5. Sew along the edge of the paper, maintaining a consistent seam allowance. You don't have to watch the needle. Instead, your eyes should follow the edge of the paper, aligning it with the 15 guideline. Now, the needle is close to the corner, so I will manually move the needle using the hand wheel. Raise the foot and pivot while keeping the needle down. It's too wide, so I'm going to go down a little bit more. Checking. Okay. Make sure that the position of the needle aligns the edge of the paper with the 15 guideline on the metal plate. Once you've reached the right position, lower the foot and continue sewing. When you finish sewing, manually raise the take-up lever to the highest position, which means turn the wheel towards you, like this. And then raise the pressure foot and pull the paper out. So now we have straight stitches with a 15mm seam allowance. Now we are going to explore how to thread the machine. Threading involves the top and bottom threads. When these two threads lock together, they create a secure stitch. Let's begin by threading the top thread first. So store your thread spool here, and this is the thread that goes into the needle. So this is your top thread. Most machines have a numbered guide. You see there's number 1. So I need to go down through this slit. And step 2 tells me to make a U-turn and go back up here. Now at step number 3, and I need to make another U-turn. But I want to pay attention to this take-up lever. There is a hole in the very front of the lever. It's very important that your thread goes into that hole. There is a slit that runs from the back of the lever to the front. So hold the thread and then insert it from the back of the slit in the take-up lever, and click it into the hole, like this. Now you are going to go down to the needle. There is a hook around the needle, so put the thread into the hook. And now you are going to thread the needle. Go from front to back through the eye of the needle. Okay. Now you have this long thread. This needs to go through the pressure foot. There is a slit in the center of the pressure foot, and you pass the thread through the slit towards the back. Now let's move on to threading the bottom thread. I'm using a different color for the bottom thread compared to the top thread to help you see them easily. But usually when people sew, they use the same color for both the top and bottom thread. Okay, for threading, hold the bobbin facing you like this, with the thread tail hanging off the left end, resembling the letter P, like this. Open the cover and then place the bobbin into the bobbin case. The thread needs to go through this little slit in the case. But if you look at the case cover, you will notice an arrow indicating the direction. So hold the bobbin in place and thread the end through the slit and click it over to the left. Now to bring the bobbin thread up and connect it with the top thread, we are going to use a fishing-like technique. To do that, you are going to turn the hand wheel towards you until this take-up lever goes all the way down and then all the way back up. Once this silver take-up lever is back at the top, stop turning the hand wheel. Now you should have a little loop that's come through the hole under the pressure foot. Use something to sweep the loop to the left, bringing the bobbin thread to the top, such as scissors. So this is the loop, this purple loop. So sweep them to the left. Now the bottom thread is on top. Both threads should now pass under the pressure foot and to the back. Close the bobbin case cover. And now the machine is ready for sewing.